Well, good morning. I'm very pleased to be here with the Senior Deputy Governor, Carolyn Rogers, to discuss today's policy announcement and our outlook in the Monetary Policy Report. Our policy decision today has two elements. First, we raised our policy interest rate by 25 basis points to 4.5%, and we are continuing quantitative tightening. Second, if economic developments evolve broadly in line with the forecast we published today, we expect to hold the policy rate at its current level while we assess the impact of the cumulative 425 basis point increase in our policy rate. We've raised rates rapidly, and now it's time to pause and assess whether monetary policy is sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation back to the 2% target.
Sucker punch. That's what the Trudeau government hit Canadians with today by increasing interest rates after Trudeau and his government promised rates would stay low for long. They said the rates would stay low, so Canadians took on hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And now suddenly, rates have risen by over 4 percentage points in a single year. This is the 8th increase in less than a year. In fact, rates are now 16 times, the Bank of Canada rate is 16 times higher than it was a year ago. Why? Well, the cost of government is driving up the cost of living. $500 billion of inflationary Trudeau deficits are bidding up the goods we buy and the interest we pay. He's added more debt than all previous prime ministers combined. And this, according to the governor of the Bank of Canada, is driving up interest rates. On top of that, Trudeau and his costly coalition with the NDP proposed to triple the carbon tax on gas, heat, and groceries, even after that same tax has failed to hit a single solitary climate change target. This is the responsibility of a prime minister who is the most expensive prime minister in Canadian history. A Poilievre government will reverse these inflationary policies, will cap spending, cut waste, fire the high-priced consultants who are now gobbling up over $15 billion or $1,000 for every Canadian household every single year. We'll get rid of the carbon tax to lower gas, heat, and grocery costs, remove the gatekeepers to build more homes, grow more food, and produce more Canadian energy. We'll let our brilliant immigrants work in their professions by making it possible for their skills to be recognized, and that will lead to more doctors and nurses. But Trudeau has not only unleashed a cost of living crisis, but by turning loose the most violent repeat offenders, Trudeau's caused a crime wave. We see random attacks on transit in Toronto, 4 men shot in Abbotsford over the last few days, a 32% increase in violent crime since Trudeau took office, 92% increase in violent gang-related crime. This is the Trudeau record. Canadians are hurting. Everything feels broken. And instead of turning that hurt into hope, the Prime Minister divides people to distract from his catastrophic failings. Well, we're going to hold him to account, but we're going to turn that hurt into hope. A Poilievre government will tackle inflation, make government affordable so life is affordable, lower taxes, reform our tax system to reward work, remove the gatekeepers to open up the gates of opportunity, and finally, tackle violent crime, not by going after Indigenous hunters in Nunavut, but by going after the gun smugglers who bring handguns in from the United States and putting repeat, habitual, violent offenders behind bars where they can no longer do harm. That is the hope we're going to restore for Canadians. Now let's bring it home.
Canada governor should be fired.
Of course.
On spending, would you support...
I've already answered that to your outlet. You're a CTV, right?
Yes.
Well, I just told them that last month.
On spending, would you support some targeted measures to support low-income Canadians at this point who we know are struggling?
Well, we need to, right now, Canadians with low income are suffering more than ever because of Trudeau's inflation. When he drove up inflation, food prices went up 12%. That hits the poorest the hardest. He drove up housing prices with all of his money printing. That hurts the lowest income people. And now he's hitting them with higher interest rates. There's no question that Trudeau has attacked our poorest people with this inflationary crisis that he has caused. We're going to get rid of the carbon tax to lower the cost of energy on low-income people. We're going to get rid of the inflation so that the working poor can actually buy the essentials of life. And we're going to reform our tax system so that hard work pays off. The hardest working people in Canada, the lowest income people, pay the highest marginal effective tax rates, because as soon as they get a job and earn an income, they get clawed back and taxed. It's not true that the rich are paying the most. It's the poorest who are suffering the most. Every time they earn a dollar, they lose 80 cents, 90 cents on that dollar in clawbacks and taxes. A Poilievre government will reform the clawbacks and taxes so that work always pays and our hard-working, low-income people can get ahead.